Hi, Misty. Hi, everyone. Thank you again for taking time out of your really busy Tuesday to come to Yoga Core. As always, just check around that you have a safe space. I tend to put things in the way and think that they won't be in the way, and then they are in the way. So just check that you have a nice solid floor or space to be on. As always, we're going to start either sitting or lying on your back, and we'll spend maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes just relaxing and breathing. If you're in Madison right now, it's really, really warm out. And so we just want to honor how warm it is and take it easy, be kind to ourselves. So we're going to start with some relaxation and attention and connection to breathing. So give yourself a moment to settle. Find a nice, comfortable shape. You can sit in a chair, you could sit up on a block, you could sit on a cushion. Feel free to lie back and bend your knees. You could put a blanket underneath your head. And just taking a moment, feeling your body slowing down. Just letting your body connect to the ground, to the earth. You might put a hand on your chest, right around your breastbone, sternum, maybe one down on your lower belly. Just as we settle in, checking in with ourselves, how are we feeling today? You might check in physically. How does the your physical body feel? How do you feel energetically? Just honoring and noting what comes up. Feeling, connecting to your breath. So with the hand on the chest, one hand on the lower belly, you feel the breath underneath your hands. And even imagine your hands were breathing. And feeling, connecting to the ground. Breathing in and breathing out through your nose. And feel a little more underneath your bottom hand. So right now, as we're resting, it's a little easier to connect to the sensations and the feelings of the residue of your breath underneath that bottom hand. This is, you feel your breath slowing down. If you feel comfortable, allow the breath to get a little slower. And as the breath maybe gets a little slower, can you let your exhale feel a little longer? So as the exhale feels and gets a little longer, we just want to check in that it's not so long that we have to come in with a gasp for the inhale. So it's a smooth transition, exhale to inhale. So we inhale, we exhale. Maybe a little longer exhale. And then a smooth transition to the inhale. Take 5 more breaths like this. And finishing up on 5 breaths. And bring your hands down to the sides. And if you're sitting, then transitioning onto your back with your knees bent. So we'll all find that transitional pose here onto your back with your knees bent, constructive rest pose. Okay. And we're going to bring awareness here to the back of the rib cage, into the soft tissue, and then the back of your hip. Okay, so you have your back ribs, soft tissue, back of the hips. And so just feeling that, becoming aware of that, nice and wide through the back ribs. 3 breaths, maybe even trying to feel a little more connection to the breath in the side ribs and the back ribs. With your next exhale, we're going to ground through the left side a little more. So down is going to create a floating feeling through the right leg. I'm just going to bring the right knee up over your right hip. Arms can come down, soften through the neck and the jaw. Try and soften across the chest. And then your shin's going to be pretty parallel. We're just going to work in pointing and flexing, waking up the ankle. So I'm going to push the toes, pull the toes back. Okay, so you can add the awareness of your ankle. So here's your ankle, here's your heel, ball of the foot. So as your heel draws in, your toes, ball of the foot point. As you push your heel, toes, ball of the heel come in. So a little bit like a teeter-totter, feeling that relationship. And add resistance. If you were in water, it would feel different than air. The next time you pull your heel in and the ball of your foot and your toes are pointing, we're going to point, stretch the hamstring, lift the leg, flex, pull the heel down. Heel draws in, toes point, lift, flex, bend. 3 more with your breathing. Nice and steady through your rectangular core area. Just working, feeling that movement, nice and connected through the foot into the ankle. Now, next time you point and lift your shin, we're going to hold. See if you can feel both of the back hips. Come back to the soft tissue, back to the width of the ribs, and then your leg connecting into the hip. We're going to do 3 ankle circles each direction. So going slow enough that you can really keep your knee steady, keep your thigh bone set, and just move around in that ball and socket of the foot. So we're not moving the knee a whole lot, not moving the thigh bone a whole lot. Trying to keep that more steady. You come back, point, bend, exhale, control, and lower down. Take 2 or 3 breaths, just come back, set things back up, feet nice and anchored, pelvis, ribs, shoulders. Right side anchors down, left side floats up. Knee comes a little more stacked over the hip. Point, flex. So, toes follow the foot to heel. Feeling a little more like that teeter-totter relationship. As you push the heel away, feel how the ball of the foot, the toes draw back. As you pull the heel, the toes point. This leg stays really strong and stable in the hip socket. Hip socket to low belly connection. Then you can point your toes, point and pull the leg up. Feel how you can push your heel away and feel your toes lower down and bend. So this relationship as we do 4 more. Now, as you're bending and straightening, a little more challenging is to check in that you're not gripping across the chest or gripping or holding your breath or trying to hold yourself up from your throat or your eyes. So you continue the work in the leg and the ankle and the foot, woo, and have that awareness in your upper body. And you can point, get nice and long through your hamstring, back of the knee, and then find some circles. Knee doesn't move. Thigh bone stays really set. Might go really slowly just to feel, whoo, my ankle's so tight. And then after 3 each direction, can point and bend and lower. So with both feet coming back down, resetting into your neutral area here. Belly button to pubic bone. You're going to push your belly button down. The hips start to roll up a little bit. They tuck under. Then you're going to take your pubic bone, push your pubic bone down. Belly button's going to float up. You're going to get all this gap in your low back. So going back and forth, maybe 4 more times with control, moving for understanding. You feel what happens in the pelvis in relationship to the low back as you move through this tucking under. That's when your belly button pushes down. This tilting of the hip bones anteriorly as you push your pubic bone down. Okay, then we're just going to coast back to neutral and add a new challenge. So arms come down, nice and strong through the back of your arm, all the way out your palms and your fingers. So if you want a little more challenge, down's going to create up. So wiggle your toes, find the balls of your feet. You just have to feel them. Trust, yeah, there's my toes, there's all the feet. You're going to push it to the balls of the feet and lift your heels. Now, when you lift your heels, feel your heels pull back so you can lengthen and connect through the arches of your feet. Then let your heels draw down and feel the floor and take a couple breaths. So I just had a huge cramp there. Woo! Try it again. I'll try it again and maybe not get such a huge cramp. Balls of the feet press down, heels lift. Heels draw back. Ooh, cramp. Pull the heels back and down to the floor. Okay? Try to keep your hips really steady on the floor. Length through the low back, width through the ribs. One more time. Balls of the feet, toes. Now, notice your toes. You might want to talon grip your toes. Can your toes keep flowing forward like rivers as your heels lift? If you want a little more, then I'm going to move my arm so you can see. You're going to roll up vertebra by vertebra and then roll back down Heels draw back and down. If it's too much to have your heels up, then keep your heels down the whole time, just rolling up into a really low bridge and rolling down. Okay, your choice. I'm going to outstretch my legs to try and get rid of that really crazy cramp. So you can roll up and down out of bridge a few times. You can have your heels down. You can challenge yourself to have your heels up a little bit. It doesn't have to be a super high lift of your heel. After you've done maybe 3 more, just come all the way back to that constructive rest pose. And take a couple breaths. So we'll meet in this constructive rest. And then we're all going to find one more bridge. So up to you. If you want to press through the balls of your feet, lift your heels, toes flow out, heels draw back. Maybe you roll up your spine. Maybe your heels are down. We're going to hold this bridge for a moment. So finding just the right bridge. Ribs drawing down, chest nice and open without a ton of tension. So you might try and soften a little bit across your chest through your throat. Heels lifting, 2 more breaths, come down when you need to. And then exhale when you're ready, roll all the way down. We'll draw your knees right up over your hips. Point your toes and stretch your legs. And then just do a little bit of ankle work right here. Pointing and flexing, pushing and pulling heels to balls of feet. 3 more. You can hold on to the back of the legs if that helps you feel more connected. You can have your arms down on the floor. Next time you draw your heels in and your toes are pointed, pause. Then we're going to hold on to the back of your legs. Okay, you're going to push your legs away from you. So legs are going to push out as your arms pull your legs in. So I'm really pulling my legs in. You're going to push your legs away. With an exhale, drop the ribs to lift your head. And maybe try and roll all the way on up to seated. You can roll over to the side too, whatever works, all right? Come and build your tabletop. So, nice strong table. We build these every Tuesday. Remember, we want to resist gravity. So this is a non-resisted gravity table. This is a table where we're building with resistance to gravity. So back of the skull, my ears are about as high as my shoulders, shoulders as high as ribs, ribs high as hips. If you want more challenge, curl your toes under. Push your toes down, push down through your arms, upper back, float your knees, lower back down. So again, we're playing the down creates up game. You're going to press down. This encourages us to use the upper back, so those muscles underneath the shoulder blades. See if you can stay really wide between your shoulder blades. Push down, float your knees. 2 more, okay? So back of the heart, out underneath the shoulder blades, down through your triceps into the ground. Last time, you're going to go to floating table, up and back to downward facing dog. Okay, build your downward facing dog, bend your knees, and lift your heels pretty high here. Okay, feeling, connecting through your dog, 3 breaths. Just noticing whatever you notice, awareness practice with your breathing here. Look back and see your heels and see your toes. So your toes are flowing towards the palms of your hands, and you're going to try and take your thigh bones in your heels and push or release your heels and your thigh bones back. So energetically, thigh bones and heels are reaching to the wall behind you for 3 more breaths. When you feel your next exhale, figure out how to walk your hands and feet together. And then very, very, very slowly bend your knees and come on up to standing. Take a wide stride. All right, so we're going to continue working down in our ankles and the arches of our feet today, okay? So it all connects through the legs into the stability of our rectangular core area, okay? So as your feet come out wide, wiggle your toes, feel the balls of your feet. Try to have some awareness for the front of your hip, okay? So as you have a little bend in your knee, we're gonna start with this right foot and just connect and see what we feel from the toes into your hips. So as you push the ball of your foot down and you float your heel up, notice the relationship to the front of your hip. You might have to bend your knees a little deeper. Then you're gonna take your right heel and your thigh bone, just like we did in that dog pose, and pull them back to lower the heel. Left side, left hip. Press through the toes to float your heel up. Pause. Thigh bone and heel. Pull. Strengthen through that bottom left arch. Heel comes down. One more time. Right side. Down creates up. Heel lifts. Thigh bone. Heel. Left side when you're ready. Down. Floats the left heel up. Thigh bone pulls in. Left heel anchors down. Going maybe a little lower. Both feet. So down through the balls of the feet. Lift your heels just enough. Knees energetically out over your toes. Thigh bones, heels. You're gonna pull the thigh bones, pull the heels to come up. 2 more like that on your own. So you're coming down, connecting. Heels lift. Hamstrings. All the way down the back of the leg, through the calves into the heels. Last one. Great, take a 3-breath break, shake things out. And then just add the arms. So the arms are gonna look a little bit, feel a little bit like sun salutation arms. I'm gonna exhale, go down. Down creates up, lift the heel. Inhale. Heels draw back to go down. Exhale. Inhale. One more. See if you can go even a little bit slower. Three breaths. Full exhale, left leg rolls in, right leg rolls out. So you can take a moment, look down, make sure you're heel to heel. And then we're gonna work on feeling a little more of that lateral outside arch of your foot. So that lateral arch is from the pinky to the back outside heel, okay? So if you look down behind you at the left, you can feel your pinky toe pad and draw an energetic line to the back of your heel. So can you press into that awareness and at the same time try and ground your big toe mount, okay? Hip and thigh bone rolling in a little bit. So what we really want to pay attention to here is that we're not collapsing in on the foot like this, okay? So it's Even if we have flat feet, we're not collapsing in like this, okay? So keeping that awareness and that intention and strength, keeping the weight pretty equal front to back. How far can you bend your right knee? Remember, we still want that good, strong posture in the rectangular core area. Press into the right toes, follow the feet, let your right heel lift. Thigh bone, heel, pull back. Arches of the feet strong, heel lowers. Bend. So if your foot's a dome, heel lifts. Dome is nice and long and strong. You might feel more like a dome when the heel comes down. One more time. When you get right here, pause. So right knee's bent. What's happening in the back foot? Did you lose your pinky toe, ball of the foot, big toe? See if you can keep that. Thinking of the feet like domes. Lift your right heel. Dome's gonna get long and strong. Heel comes down. Right leg rolls in. Left leg rolls out. Pinky to outside heel on that back right leg. Can move through this side a little bit quicker. Right side of the foot, pinky, big toe. Okay. Paying attention, the dome feeling in both feet. Exhale, bend. About the same amount of weight front to back. Down creates a floating heel. Thigh bone pulls back, heel pulls back. Long foot dome as the heel lowers. Good. 2 more on your own. Try not to lose that back right foot. And both feet, after you've done 3 on the left side, come together. Heels come in, toes go out. Pinky toes to heel. Adding the weight, connection to the balls of your feet, big toe mounds. Going down, you'll bend to your capacity. Down creates the float through the heel. Pulling in to come up. Heels drop back to slowly lower. Adding your arms, exhale. Inhale. One more really slow. You define what really slow is. Left foot rolls in. Right hip, right leg roll up. Feeling that full foot. Maybe imagining the foot back there, that left foot more like a dome. Right knee bends. Tipping over, elbow to knee or hand. All right, so you can tip your head down. Notice this arch. Are you rolling in? It's easy for the knee to roll in. It's easy for us to put a lot of weight on the inside arch and it flattens out. So just have an awareness there. Nice and strong through your core, ear, knee, ankle alignment. Lift your right heel. Pull the heel back. Straightening, letting your arm come down towards your shin. Maybe your left arm comes up. Your choice, heel up or heel down, 3 breaths. Coming all the way on up. Right leg rolls in, left leg rolls out. Pinky toes to heels. Balls of the feet, big toes to heels. Keeping that connection, bending your left knee. Building your side angle, elbow or hand to knee. Pause, line it up. Still strong through your rectangle. Shoulders stack, ribs stack, ear over knee over ankle. Rounding through the left ball of the foot, lift the left heel. Pulling that left thigh bone back, hand comes down to hover. 3 breaths. Maybe the heel draws back to come down. Coming all around. Okay, stepping your feet together. 5 breaths. Just standing, coming back to your present time experience. Noticing what you notice, feeling what you feel. With your next exhale, just noting, there's my exhale. Let it out through your nose. And looking down at your feet, we want the feet parallel. Soft bend, your ankles, your knees, and your hips. Okay, so arms can just hang, kind of rest down by your side here. We're just gonna start a really slow, easy trot. So grounding through the left side and grounding through the ball of your right foot, your right heel's gonna lift up, your knee's gonna bend. Okay, when we do this, we're gonna do the first couple really slow. We don't want any rotation, so we're not swinging side to side, okay? We're trying to keep your hips, those middle ribs, shoulders, ears, pretty much facing straight. Then you're gonna ground and lift your left heel, okay? And you can put your hands on your hips to help you feel. So it's not this kind of thing. It's not this kind of thing. Trying to keep ears, shoulders, ribs, and hips pretty stacked. Now, if you want to go faster, feel free. Everyone can have their own pace. Look down or feel for more challenge that your toes are long like rivers and less bunched up like talons. So it's really easy here to go fast and start to grip. So you might notice that when you're walking, or if you wear flip-flops a lot, you might start to grip in your flip-flop, toes long. You can add more challenge by swinging the opposite arm. So left knee, right arm can come forward. If you want more challenge, you can start to really squat it back and down and go low. Okay, so up to you. I started to go in same arm, same knee. Try to go opposite arm. Okay, maybe here. Maybe you're coming low. You feel the work, long toes, strong core, so we're not rounding over. Still have that nice solid core, strong shoulders, abdominals, hips. And then you're gonna pause. So whatever knee's up, you're gonna pause. Maybe squat it down a little lower. Push up, other side, squat it down a little lower. Come on up and rest. Woo. And just observe, fast breath, fast heart rate. One of the best benefits of the practice is that the heart goes a little faster. Try and keep breathing in and out your nose. Just observe the heartbeats starting to slow down, the breath starting to slow down. Three more breaths. Take a nice full exhale and step your right foot forward a little bit. So it's not a huge lunge. Feet are pretty close together. Okay. So hips are facing more or less forward with your ribs, shoulders, and ears. So we're going to feel that back leg, hip connection. So here's your front hip, all the way down through the foot. Now, hamstring, all the way down through your heel, okay? Down through the toes, ball of the foot, to lift your heel. You're gonna rock forward, bend your right knee to your capacity, and pause. Try to keep your belly and your pubic bone, so your belly button and your pubic bone a little more stacked. If you tip back a little bit, just check that you're not cranking or overhinging in your low back. So lots of strength and stability in your low abdominal area here, okay? So from here, your back heel's lifted. We're doing the first one really slow so you get it. Left thigh bone is gonna push back. You're gonna get a hip flexor stretch. Try not to push forward. So we have to take ribs knitting, all the stuff we've done in all our previous classes. Keep your ribs knit, keep your low back long, and pull that back heel back and down and straighten the right leg. One more time together. Heel lifts. Watch my low back. It stays long and strong as we come forward. As I take the left thigh bone, push it back, push your left thigh bone back, let your heel draw back. And then in your right leg, straight. It's good. Try 2 more on your own. Putting together lots of core pieces. So meaning core strength, all that practice of knitting the ribs in the last few classes we've done together. Same time, you're gonna work in the ankles, the feet, the hips. Good, next time the heel lifts and you come forward, pause. More challenging, if you want it, arms come up. Feel your back pinky toe lift up or ground down with your left pinky finger reaching up. So your left pinky finger is gonna reach up. You're gonna ground, and then you're gonna try and pull that left femur bone, thigh bone back and stretch for 3 breaths. Knit the ribs, remember? Knitting the ribs is when you exhale and the ribs draw down and in. And then step both feet together, take 3 breaths. And then your right foot steps back a little bit. Line it all up, get ready. Soften where you can soften. Let's practice knitting the ribs, okay? So take a couple exhales. Imagine that shoelace from the right side of the ribs to the left side of the ribs coming together. You can also imagine when you exhale, feeling the ribs drawing down and in. You don't even have to imagine it, maybe you feel it. So navel draws in a little bit, but that's because you're exhaling. We're not squeezing it in like we're trying to get tight jeans on. This just happens from your breathing. Good, then the back heel's gonna lift. We'll lift up, keeping that strength of the posture, bend. Now, take that right thigh bone and press it back. When you stretch that right thigh bone, good, keeping your spine long as the heel comes down. Left leg straightens, good. Maybe 3 more on your own. Getting a little more awareness through the feet, working on stretching and strengthening the arches of the feet. In connection with the legs to the hips, to the core. Next time your right heel lifts and you come forward, either hands together at your chest or taking the arms up. My legs are shaking. So here we go. Pinky finger to pinky toe. Round that right pinky toe. Stretch that right pinky finger up. Trying to remember and feel the ribs knit. Then the right thigh bone pulls back or releases back till the heel comes down. 2 breaths. And then we step everything together. And just kind of march things out a little bit. You can point your toes a little bit side to side. All right, let's take a wide stride before we go to the floor. Okay, heels are going to come in a little bit. Toes are going to go out for most of us just based on our hips. And we're gonna try and push out through the pinky toe to the heel, and we're gonna do a little side lunge. Push up, push out, okay? So it might help to think of pulling in and up and pushing out. Noticing the arch of the foot, the dome. You keep that dome shape as you work side to side. Now I'm going pretty low. That's not necessary. You be right here. Maybe right here. Feeling a little more dome like in those feet. Can your toes flow like water? 2 more times to the left. 2 more times to the right. Find just the right challenge for you. And then after those 2 times, center. And stepping feet together, standing meditation for 5 breaths. So coming back, check in with yourself. How are you feeling physically? How do you feel energetically? What does it feel like here to breathe? So asking ourselves some questions helps us stay present, focused in our bodies. 2 full exhales. Soft, easy bend in your ankles, your knees, your hips. Exhale, sweeping your arms out to come up. Bend your knees as much as you need, resist gravity. Fold forward. Okay, so you're gonna bend your knees, your hands are down by your feet. You're gonna start to walk your hands out slowly, noticing when you need to lift up your heels. So go out as far as you can until that tug goes, woo, I'm gonna lift my heels and bend my knees. Feet might step a little wider, build your downward facing dog. With your second exhale, lower down to your knees, so take your time, build your table again. You could either curl your toes under, which will give your feet a little different stretch than if you point your toes. You might do a little bit of both. And then 5 thoughtful, slow rounds of cat-cow, moving through your spine. So using this time, checking in, ask yourself some questions. These questions could be around your breathing or around your vertebrae moving. These questions can be about anything you're curious about. 2 more cat-cows. When you finish those 2 cat-cows, we'll come back to table. Just step your knees back a little bit. Look down, ground, get strong through your upper back, and we're going to slide your chest forward and then push back. So you're going to go pretty slow here. We're going to do 2 more of these. And you're going to end up in an upward facing dog. If you want more in your up dog, you're going to push onto the tops of your feet, engage your hamstrings and lift up and stretch out the tops of your feet. If this is like, oh, what is she doing? That's crazy talk. You can just push back into child's pose and stretch out here. So you're either in that up dog, and by now you probably want to go back to child's pose. And we all meet in child's pose or roll on our backs and draw our knees into our chest. So either child's pose or you're on your back with your knees drawing in. 3 breaths for your own personal awareness. If you're in child's pose, coming up to seated or rolling onto your back. You're on your back, drawing your knees into your chest, maybe rocking a little bit side to side. You might take your legs up towards the ceiling. One more hamstring stretch. You might work in pushing and pulling your heels and toes. And then we all bend the knees, bring the feet to the floor, let the arms come down. Maybe outstretching the legs, or if you're someone who has quite a bit of low back tightness, you might keep your knees bent. And just coming back inward, checking back in with yourself, allowing things to settle, things being mind, breath, body. Notice where you feel your body receiving the breath. And a little bit like how we started, you might want to put a hand on your chest and one on your lower belly. So observing, allowing the breath to slow down. Let's take the next 5 to 8 breaths, 10 breaths in silence. Breathing in and out through your nose. You feel comfortable, the breath might slow down a little more, lengthening your exhale. And then as you're ready, waking up the body. You might start to wiggle fingers and toes. You might draw your knees in, stretch out your back, or take a full body stretch. So just giving your body, mind, breath time. We're going to head towards Q&A in about 5-10 seconds. So if you want to stick around, wonderful. You can stay resting in Shavasana. I kept you a little long today, sorry. It's hard for me to see the clock sometimes. Just transitioning slowly, steadily up to sitting.